Rest is not something you earn. And if you're an entrepreneur over 40 who can't sit on the couch without a voice listing everything you haven't done yet, I know that feeling. And the reality is that guilt isn't a character flaw. Your nervous system learned that stillness equals danger. And you're only safe when you're producing. But here's what nobody tells you. You don't have to work so hard to learn how to rest. You have to give your body one piece of evidence that resting is safe and not wrong. So before I show you where that wire got crossed, here's the move you can do right now. And I want you to actually do it with me, not just watch me do it. And it takes about 60 seconds. First, wherever you're sitting, just sit back a little bit, all the way back, and let the chair or the couch actually hold your weight. Most of us, even when we sit, we're still holding ourselves up, like we're ready to spring up the second someone needs something. So let it go and let the furniture do the work right now in this moment. Drop your shoulders just 1 inch, and you'll probably notice that they were way up around your ears and you didn't even know it. That's normal. That's 20 years of bracing. Now take one slow, deep breath in and let that exhale be longer than the inhale. The long exhale is the part that matters. I'll tell you why in a minute. And as you breathe out, say this out loud, not in your head. There's nothing I have to earn in the next 60 seconds. Don't fix the to-do list. Don't plan your next move. Just let your body register for one moment that the lion left the room. And nothing is chasing you right now. Nothing has to be done in the next 60 seconds. And feel that? That little flicker of resistance? That itch to reach for your phone? That voice going, okay, that's enough. Let's go. Hold on to that feeling. Don't judge it, because that flicker right there, that's the exact lie we're going to dismantle. Because if your body fought you on 60 seconds of stillness, that's not a discipline problem. You've got plenty of discipline. It's how you've built everything you've built. This is a wiring problem. And the reality is, once you understand why that resistance shows up, you'll never look at rest guilt the same way again. Here's what's actually happening in your body when you try to rest. Your nervous system has exactly one job: keep you alive. It's older than your ambition, older than your business, older than language itself. And over years of running a company, of deadlines, of late evening emails, of putting out fires you didn't start, it learned something. It learned that movement means safety, that if you're producing, you're safe. And if you're solving, you're safe. If you're moving, the lion is not in the room. But here's the problem. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between I'm working because I choose to, and I'm working because if I stop, something bad happens. It doesn't read your intentions. It just tracks patterns. And the pattern that is learned over 20 years is simple. Stillness equals a threat. So when you finally sit down on the couch, when you finally have a moment, your body does not go, oh, good, we can relax now. It goes, wait, why did movement stop? What's wrong? What are we forgetting? And it starts scanning for a threat. That voice that starts listing everything you haven't done, that's your conscious. That's not ambition. That's not even really you. That is a survival alarm going off in a room where there is no actual danger. It's a smoke detector that learned to go off every time you cook. The alarm isn't broken. It's doing its job perfectly. It just learned the wrong trigger. And the reality is, you can't argue with a smoke detector. You can't stand under it and say, relax, I'm just making eggs. It doesn't care about your reasoning. It cares about the smoke. So the real question isn't, how do I shut this alarm up? The question is, how did cooking become a trigger in the first place? And more importantly, how do we teach it a new one? So what do we do with this? Well, most entrepreneurs do exactly what got them successful in the first place. Then they try to power through it. They try discipline their way into rest. Just think about how absurd that sounds for a second. Discipline your way into rest. But that's the move. They download the meditation app. They block downtime on the calendar in a nice calming color. They announce to themselves, this weekend, I'm going to rest even if it kills me. And it works for about 90 seconds. And then a voice comes back. You should be doing something. You're wasting daylight. That invoice isn't going to send itself. And before you even notice it happen, the laptop's open again and you're right back in it. And then you add a new item to your list. Can't even relax properly. So now resting itself becomes one more thing you failed at. Here's where willpower fails you here. And it has nothing to do with how much of it you got. You are trying to override a survival response with a thought. And that is like standing in front of a blaring fire alarm and announcing, I have decided this is not an emergency. The alarm doesn't care about your decision. It was never listening to your thoughts. It's reading your sensors, your breath, your heart rate, and the tension in your jaw. And your nervous system works the exact same way. You cannot think your way into feeling safe. You cannot mantra your way past a survival wire that got soldered in over 2 decades of grinding. The reality is the body does not respond to arguments. It has never responded to arguments. It responds to one thing, and one thing only: proof. So let's talk about how you actually give it proof. Remember what you did at the top of this video when you sat back and dropped your shoulders and made the exhale longer than the inhale and said, "There's nothing I have to earn." Here's the nerve you were talking to. That's the vagus nerve. It's the longest cranial nerve in your body, and its entire job is to be your body's safety inspector. It is constantly scanning. And notice what it's not scanning. It's not reading your thoughts. It's not retrieving your to-do list. It's reading your physical state, your breathing, your muscle tension, your heart rate. And when it detects the right signals, that long exhale, those dropped shoulders, a soft belly, it then sends one quiet message up to your brain: we're safe, stand down. Now here's the part that's actually wild. Remember the flicker of resistance you felt? That was the old wire fighting the new signal in real time. The vagus nerve was sending up, look safe, and the survival alarm was screaming back, do not trust it, keep moving. And here's the cruel part: the alarm is loud. The vagus nerve is quiet. The alarm shouts, the vagus nerve whispers. And that right there is why you lost the fight for 20 years. Not because you're weak, not because you lack drive. You've got more drive than most people will ever have, because you've been trying to hear a whisper over a fire alarm. So the question is not, how do I silence the alarm? You can't. The question is, how do I give the vagus nerve enough evidence, often enough, that the whisper finally gets louder than the alarm? And the answer is not immediately a meditation app. It's not a weekend off. It's not a vacation. The answer is one piece of evidence, once a day, that resting is safe. That's the best place to begin. And I want to be honest with you, because I know I was that guy. I was the guy who would sit down on the couch and within 60 seconds have the laptop open. My wife would say, "Can't you just watch this show with me?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm watching it." But the truth is I wasn't watching it. I was scanning email with one eye and pretending to be present with the other. And I told myself that made me responsible. And the reality is, for years, I believed the story that I just couldn't relax, that I was wired wrong, that I was one of those people who needs to be doing something every waking minute or they would feel useless. I genuinely thought this was my personality trait, like an eye color, just who I was. And it wasn't. It was a nervous system that had been sucked into survival mode for so long that I had forgotten what safe even felt like. And the turning point for me, it wasn't a silent retreat. It wasn't a book. It wasn't some breakthrough. It was the smallest thing. One evening, I sat down on the couch, and instead of reaching for the laptop, I just put my hand on my chest and I just breathed. 3 breaths. That was the whole thing. And right on cue, the alarm went off, and it was loud. You should be doing something. This is pointless. You have emails to look at. And for the first time, I just stayed. Not because I gritted my teeth, but because I finally was giving my body one piece of evidence that the couch was not a threat, that stillness was not a threat. 3 breaths. That's all it was. And I want to be clear, I did not feel transformed that night. I didn't feel anything, honestly, but I did it the next night and the next. And over time, and I mean weeks, not days, the whisper got a little louder and the alarm got a little less convincing. Not gone. I want to be honest about that. Just less. And less was everything. If you've been watching this far, I want to invite you to do something. If this is you and you can't sit still without that voice starting up, I built something exactly for this. It's called Calm in 7. It's free and it's a 7-day rhythm. Each day it gives you a tiny nervous system reset, one piece of evidence that your body is safe. It's not a meditation program. And it's not a productivity hack. It's 7 days of teaching the smoke detector a new trigger. You can grab it in the description below. The link is there. So let's walk through what this actually looks like as a daily practice, because this is the whole thing. I call it the 60-second safety deposit. Once a day, just once, you make a deposit of evidence into your nervous system. You give your body proof that stillness is not a threat. And here's how it actually works. You sit down and you do the same thing you did at the top of the video. And now you know why it works. Sit all the way back and let the furniture hold you. Shoulders drop 1 inch. One slow breath with the exhale longer than the inhale. Because that long exhale is the single fastest signal that you can send the vagus nerve. And out loud you say, there's nothing I have to earn in the next 60 seconds. And then you stay. 60 seconds, that's the entire practice. And you may breathe in for the count of 4 and breathe out for the count of 8 and do that 2 or 3 times and just say that one statement out loud. There's nothing I have to earn in the next 60 seconds. Now the alarm will go off. I promise you it will. Somewhere between second 15 and second 30, the voice starts. You should be checking email. The kitchen's a mess. This is a waste of time. And here's the part that matters more than anything else I'm going to say. When it does, you do not argue with it. You don't fight it. You don't try to force it quiet. You just notice it. You go, there's the alarm, right on schedule. And you stay anyway. Because here's what's happening neurologically every time you do that. Every time you feel the alarm and you don't run. You're handing the vagus nerve a piece of evidence. You're saying the alarm went off and nothing had to happen. That lion did not come back. It does it again, and the nervous system files that away. It does it again the next day, and there's another piece of evidence. And slowly, not overnight, the system updates. It goes, maybe stillness isn't danger after all. Maybe stillness is just that, stillness. Think about the last time you learned a new route to go somewhere. The first few times, every turn feels wrong. Your body keeps expecting the old turns, the old way. But after a week, the new route just becomes automatic and the old one fades. That is exactly what you're doing here. You are not deleting the old survival wiring. You can't. You don't need to. You're just building a new route to safety, one that runs through stillness instead of through motion. And every 60-second deposit lays a little more of that road. So let's bring this all together. The guilt you feel when you try to rest, it is not weakness. It is not a character flaw. It is not something you fix with more discipline or trying harder to rest, or a better app or a longer vacation. It is a nervous system that learned the wrong lesson at a time that lesson kept you alive. And you don't fix it by arguing with the alarm. You tried that for 20 years, and the alarm always wins. You fix it by giving your body evidence. One 60-second safety deposit at a time, until the body finally believes you that the lion left the room. There's no danger, there's just stillness. The reality is, rest was something you never had to earn. Your body just forgot that somewhere along the way. And yes, it's going to take a little time to remind it. But here's the good news. I want to leave you with this. The reminding doesn't take hours. It doesn't take a retreat. It only takes 60 seconds. One piece of evidence, once a day. That is how wires get uncrossed. So if this hit home, go grab the free Common 7 Challenge. The link is in the description below. And it'll walk you through the first 7 deposits. And if you know another entrepreneur who can't sit still without that guilt voice starting up, send them this video because they need to hear that it's not their fault either. This is Dr. Sean. Make it a great day.